I did. I packed you and your cousin some goodies for the ride up to camp. Wasn't that nice of me?
Any chips?
Why, of course. I believe there's a whole bag.
I'm almost sure of it. You never can be too careful.
They're too young to even understand what's on your mind.
Yo, Angela, how come you're so fucked up?
I bet the rest of the boys will be interested in seeing you.
I'm gonna beat your fucking ass to this!
Hey, Ange, how come you never take showers when the rest of us do?
Judy, she's a real carpenter's dream. The lad is a board and needs a screw. That's enough! Fuck off!
It can't be you. It can't be. It can't be.
Yes, I've always dreamed of a little girl just like you. I mean, we already have a boy, so another one simply would not do. Oh, no, absolutely not.
Good evening. Welcome to this week's edition of the WayBack Movies Podcast, a show where we review the best and not so best of 80s and 90s cinema, because really, fuck the 2000s. My name is Steve, and with me on this crazy journey,
Justin.
Doctor.
And
we're back.
to our regularly scheduled nonsense.
Yes.
All those classic films, I mean...
Yeah, we're throwing that shit away now. We're,
Kind of.
Kind of-ish. Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, at least two of these movies are considered classics, which is hilarious. And one of those we're actually talking about today, which, again, I cannot believe this movie is considered a classic.
Well, to us weirdos.
To us weirdos, yeah. Well, I'll get into why it is to me, but generally so. But I did this last week, and I'm going to do it this week. Before we jump in the WayBack Machine, before we do anything, I do want to say that you have to, before you listen to this, pause this and go watch the movie. It's easy to find, and I will just leave that there. YouTube. Just watch it before we talk about it, because honestly, you need to experience this film for the first time by seeing the ending, because there is a twist ending, and you need to see it raw, without knowing what it is, if you don't already know. I highly recommend that, because we're clearly going to spoil it. So I highly recommend you do that before we go any further with this, because I'm not kidding, you do need to see it that way. The movie doesn't work if you don't.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, it will make you want to go back and rewatch it, I'm not kidding, but you do need to do that. So I honestly say that you should, before we spoil the crap out of it, you should go and check it out. So that will be what I say about this. So with that being said, because I realize we haven't even though of course we understand that this is how the internet works, you clearly clicked on the name of it, so you know what we're talking about. But I will say we are going back to November 18th, 1983 for Sleepaway Camp. So that's what we're talking about. Go watch it before we jump in the WayBack Machine. Yeah. Anything else?
Nope.
No? Alright. So let's just jump in and go back to 1983. Okay, so here we are, 1983. I'm a little over a year old. There you go.
I
have no memories of 83, so I really can't say shit at this point. No. Alright. Moving on then, with our little gags, move onward. Seems like we're in such a hurry, but I really don't have much here.
Surprisingly. I'll be honest, surprisingly.
It's because, and I don't even know if I put it in my notes. Yes, I did, so I will leave it for then. So, There is a reason as to why there's not as much. It just hasn't been researched yet. And I do say yet, but we'll get there in a minute. So, Sleepaway Camp, November 18th, 1983, written and directed by Robert Hiltzik, which is a name that I'm guaranteed to screw up just because every time I look at it, I want to say Hitzlick. So, I'm going to fuck it up. I apologize in advance. Produced by Jerry Silva and Michelle Tatassian, another name I'm fucking up, I'm sure. Production company, American Eagle Films. Distributed by United... Why can't I read today? United Film Distribution Company. That wasn't hard to read. Oh my god, I'm tired. Box office of $11 million against a budget of $350,000. Made some money.
So that's still a profit.
That's a damn good profit, actually.
Good profit, I think.
Yeah, I would say that's a profit.
Including Blu-rays and DVDs and VHSs over the years.
I'm sure this movie has proven to be extremely profitable over time. So the cast is Felissa Rose is Angela Baker, Jonathan Tiersten is Ricky Thomas, Karen Fields as Judy, Christopher Collett as Paul, Mike Kellen as Mel Kostick, Catherine Cammie as Meg, Paul D'Angelo as Ronnie Angelo, Susan Glaze as Susie, Thomas E. Vandell as Mike, Owen Hughes as Artie, Robert Earl Jones as Ben, and Desiree Gould as Aunt Martha Thomas. And yes, I said Earl Jones. It's James Earl Jones' father.
And you can tell by his voice.
The second you look at him and then you hear him speak, you're like, yeah, that's definitely related. Now everyone would be like, well, how did one of our best actors come out of this guy who clearly can't act? Not an actor. He's a boxer. And he just acted in a handful of things, and this is one of them.
He's probably like, well, my kid's in acting, so...
Yeah, by that point, probably that was the thought. So the production of this movie. The filming of Sleepaway Camp took place in Argyle, New York, near Summit Lake, at a camp formerly known as Camp Algonquin. A camp writer and director Robert Hiltzik has said that he attended as a child. Jonathan Tiersten was given the role of Ricky after an unusual audition which writer-director Hiltzik asked Jonathan to cuss him out. Which makes sense if you've seen the movie. Like, that's half of what this guy does. Ricky is a very short fucking fuse. When casting for the role of Angela, writer-director Robert Hiltzik would have the actress stare wide-eyed and straight ahead while also pretending to eat a candy bar.
Creepy.
Yeah, a little bit. I don't like that. Yeah. Jane Krakowski from 30 Rock fame was apparently originally cast as Judy, but dropped out because she found Judy's death to be too grisly. Ironically, the shot of her body was cut because the MPAA thought the same thing. The movie was filmed in 5 weeks, starting in September 1982 and ending in October of that same year. Because it was set in the summer, the crew had to spray paint brown leaves and grass green to keep the continuity. Because, yeah, it was not in the summer.
Couldn't do anything about that opening wide shot,
No, which is weird because you'd think that they would have found some kind of stock footage. But they didn't. They didn't even look, apparently.
They didn't even try.
They didn't even try.
We don't have the money to try.
No, I guess not.
Just show it and just shut up.
Just show it and it's fine. The film had been storyboarded, but after the first day of filming, the movie was already so behind schedule that the storyboards couldn't be used and were thrown out. Unlike many of its contemporaries, which had adults portraying youth, the cast of Sleepaway Camp was primarily made up of child actors.
Youths.
Uh-huh. Felissa Rose and Jonathan Tiersten developed a romance during filming, but broke up soon after.
You guys were cousins, that's weird.
That's a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird. But seriously, why did love die? Just like so many people in the movie.
Not as gruesome as some of those people in the movie.
Well, you don't know. We don't know. We weren't there for the relationship.
You know what? We'll get there, man.
While filming the scene in which the canoe flips over in the lake, John E. Dunn cut the top of his hand open against a sharp rock in the lake bottom. He had to be rushed to the hospital. Sorry, lost my place because I can't see straight because I'm very exhausted. Felissa Rose's mother did not want her to be the killer. So, spoilers. Because she was so young. Jonathan Tiersten was the stand-in and hand double for all of Angela's actions during the murders. His more masculine hands with veins could better throw off the audience. He even wore a wig for the backlit shot in which Angela finds Judy in the dark. The police officer entering the rec hall at the end of the film is wearing a fake mustache. No shit.
Research.
Yeah.
I think he was, because I did some research a little bit, and I think he was doing something else. And when he came back for reshoots, he's like, "Where's the mustache?"
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Come here. Black tape.
Yeah, he had to shave it off. Yeah. Because again, it was kind of like Superman in Justice League. He had to shave it off for another role.
And this is 1983, so there's no CGI.
We don't have CGI to take that shit off, or add it to it. And yeah, they had to do something, and this is what they did. It looked ridiculous.
Oh yeah.
Thank
God he's not in too many scenes at the end of the film.
Yeah, he's only in a couple, but unfortunately, at least one of them is a close up, and it just looks kind of stupid.
Yeah, and it's like he's right under a light. So, whatever. It's a 1980. Again, this at the beginning of the movie, it's supposed to be summer, and there's fucking brown trees.
Yeah. So hey, we just let it go.
So fake a mustache.
It adds to the fun. The climactic scene was accomplished using a nude man wearing a mask cast from Felissa Rose's face. The thin man stood in for Angela, was a college student who needed to get very drunk before he was able to do the scene. After filming, someone stole the head, which seems kind of fucked up.
And you can see him changing in the background.
Yeah.
Oops.
Rutrow. So the legacy of this film, and yes, it does have one. On release, the film was frequently and unfavorably compared to Friday the 13th, due to their shared settings and whodunit plot structure. In the Chula Vista Star News, the film was deemed a tasteless picture about mysterious murders at a summer youth camp that obscenely blends beheadings, stabbings, pubescent impulses, homosexuality, and transvestivism with a cast of junior high school actors. That is a weird thing to put in there, but it's true. Modern reviews, however, say Sleepaway Camp is a standard teen slasher elevated by occasional moments of John Waters-esque weirdness and a twisted ending. The website Bloody Disgusting gave the film a positive review, praising Felissa Rose's performance and the film's twist ending, calling it one of the most shocking since possibly Hitchcock's Psycho.
And just to go back, how dare you, sir?
What?
John Waters is very much weirder than this film
This
ever
is
could
very
be.
true. This is very, very true.
I'd like you to go back and watch Pink Flamingos again and tell me how weird, how same that is with this. No,
I can
sir.
honestly say there is no dog poop eating in this movie.
No.
Go watch Pink Flamingos. Or don't, really. I can't really recommend that movie. I really can't.
Oh, I'm going to make us watch it.
Oh, I know you are. I didn't hate it, but I don't recommend watching it too often. I can tell you that much. I saw it once, and that was good. Now you're going to make me do it a second
love
time.
me some John Waters.
I do too, but this ain't the one.
No.
This is not the one.
Not most people's.
Over the years, the film has gained a cult following from fans of the slasher genre and garnered critical reappraisal from film scholar... Oh, Jesus.
I love you just know in the
this
beginning
name,
you're like...
Dude, it's P-A-S-Z-Y-L-K. Pazilk, I think. I accidentally cut off the first name or last name, I really don't know. Called the film an exceptionally bad movie, but a very good slasher. Which is...
Accurate?
Accurate and a weird sentence to say, but accurate. The epiphanous ending brings Sleepaway Camp further away from the likes of Friday the 13th and closer to such 80s slasher with the twist as this Happy Birthday to Me and April Fool's Day. But Hiltzich's movie goes even further than that. In the case, the ending doesn't just add a new dimension to everything we saw up to that point, but it pushes it. Apparently, the person who wrote this decided it needed to have an "it's," which is not right. It way deep into our mind and stays with us forever. He's not wrong, and I'll get to that at the end when we're giving our takes on it, and you'll know why I'm saying this. Anchor Bay released Sleepaway Camp on DVD on August 8th, 2000. Anchor Bay reissued the disc as part of a 4-disc set entitled Sleepaway Camp Survival Kit on August 20th, 2002, which also contained the film's 2 sequel as well as a bonus disc featuring footage from the then unfinished 4th sequel. The box set, which featured a medical Red Cross on the front cover, was discontinued in late 2002 after the Red Cross filed a complaint against Anchor Bay, who subsequently redesigned the box art to remove the cross logo. Ironically, I did, in fact, buy that the 2000 DVD. In 2005, the Canadian-based Legacy Entertainment released a region-free budget DVD release of the film. However, unlike the original VHS release, the release contains numerous edits of the film to either shorten the violence or certain moments like dialogue.
How's she going, eh? We can't make it too violent, eh? It's kids after all, eh?
Exactly. And the other thing I've unfortunately bought, Scream Factory released a film in a collector's edition Blu-ray set on May 27, 2014. The release contains a 2K scan of the original camera negative, and this release also has the film in its original uncut version, unlike the DVD released by Anchor Bay. Because I've actually rebought this movie twice. It's a weird thing to rebuy a 80s horror film, a low-budget 80s horror film on Blu-ray because I wanted to have the extra special
Blu-ray
features.
if you don't want it.
Fuck you. Because honestly, it looks beautiful.
Of course.
The scan that they did to update it looks so fucking good. It's ridiculous.
I think they did that for all of them.
They might have. I'm not interested in the sequels.
No.
And let's talk about them. In the late 1980s, Hiltzik sold the rights to the successive Sleepaway Camp films, after Michael A. Simpson directed 2 sequels. Sleepaway Camp 2, Unhappy Campers, and Sleepaway Camp 3, Teenage Wasteland. These films had more of a satirical comic tone than the